What is going on, Juju Gang? Hope everyone can hear me okay. Let me know if my audio is coming clear. I was debating whether I should plug in headphones or not. Should I get rid of this? Hold on. Let me get rid of this brand as well. I see everyone popping in here. How's it going, everyone? Let me just get rid of this overlay. There we go. Awesome. Corey, how's it going? Bradley, Mimi, Rodfather, Daniel. Yes, it is me. I am back on a live stream. Man, how long has it been since we've gone live? All clear. Awesome. Perfect. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from, city, state, country, as I try to find a spot that doesn't make anyone too sick. Man, it's been a long time since we talked Tesla on a live stream. I apologize for that, but then again, life just gets in the way sometimes, and we're here now. So let's talk. It's been essentially, if I have to wrap up the last time since the last time we've talked on a live stream to today, I would wrap it up with three letters, FSD. That's been the crazy everything that's been going on since then. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Oh, already got 75 years. Already got close to 100. There we go. Okay. So hit like, hit subscribe. Throw me a comment. Let me read off some places here in a second. I am saved up here on my comments. But FSD, we're going to talk about FSD. My camera's here. I got a new phone. So let's talk about FSD. Let's talk about earnings, deliveries coming up. Of course, quarter one is coming to an end already. Can you believe we're a quarter way through 2024 already? Just nuts. And that will really set the stage for us to talk about kind of the disappointing current financials for Tesla at the moment. Tesla's a dead eye. Jersey, how's it going? Or Steve from Jersey, how's it going? Beatrice from Sweden, how's it going? So many familiar faces in Cincinnati, Cali. Yes, per Johan, way too long. Oops, whoa, too long. There we go. Bipolar, yes. Tesla's up, what? It was up 6% this morning. It's up 3% now. I don't know what you want to call it by the time we close. Maybe we bring some good juju. Perth in Australia. Daniel, how's it going? Bring back Friday lives. Perhaps there's a way I can swing earlier morning streams, like 7:30 or 7:45 Pacific time in the morning. There's a way I could potentially do that. Paul, how's it going? Messi, thank you, my friend. He says, hit the like from Montreal. Classic. Is that a magnolia in the background? I don't even know what a magnolia is. No, these ones are rhododendron, I believe. Sanju, how's it going? Massachusetts, Sweden, Netherlands. So nice to see so many familiar Juju faces. I agree. This is great. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Already at 150 viewers. Okay, so let's talk. FSD version 12. First of all, it's not available in Canada. Second of all, I need FSD subscription. You guys know when I bought the car in 2020, I did not buy FSD, the package with it. Am I regretting it now? Maybe a little bit, but at the same time, I was like, man, we got Uber and Lyft in Vancouver 2 years prior to me buying the car. Do I really believe there's going to be a robotaxi future within the next 5 years of me owning this thing? Didn't think so. Pretty much correct. But man, I really want to try version 12. And so FSC subscription, Rohan he is a senior vice president at Tesla with business development and policy. He's actually replied to me on Twitter yesterday, and he said that they're on the last few steps of regulatory approval with a few things, Cybertruck being one, and of course, FSC subscription, V12 being the other. And I am so excited to finally get FSC subscription and try V12 up here. It's as you guys know, an awesome Juju Gang member, Lex, actually treated me in his Tesla version. Did he have version 11? I don't know if he had version 11 yet. I don't think it was out. Maybe it was version 10 point something when I did that video a couple of summers ago with him. And obviously it was cool, and you guys can go back and watch that. It was, I still said like there's a long way to go, but the stuff that I'm seeing now is just kind of nuts. Of course, FSC version 12 is not perfect. Of course not. No one's saying that. But what we're seeing now is so human. It's so human-esque. I'm just going back to the financials of this all and going, okay, Yashu, what would happen tomorrow if Tesla did launch a new robotaxi update to the software and it did work? And theoretically, what would happen if that happened? And I think the first thing that would happen if I were to gameplay this is a couple of smart business folk in some cities would go out and start their own fleet, right? in the same way Waymo kind of operates, right? The only deficiency there to that argument is, well, they would still need some sort of management from Tesla, whether it's supercharging help between trips, whether it's cleaning the car, whether it's trip management. Like you couldn't go on Uber and just Uber the car around, right? You would need this mechanism that would go to the person, pick the person up, unlock the door when they get in, lock the door when it goes on drive. Has a place where someone can hit customer feedback and call you. So that infrastructure is still lacking today. But if you're a smart business owner, why wouldn't you buy up a small fleet, or if you have a small fleet, enable robo taxis in there, and then essentially wait as regulatory approval and the app continues? So and I think all you really need is one city in the US, whether it's Phoenix, LA, Las Vegas, whatever it might be, to adopt this model in a way with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cars, small scale, prove out the economics of this. And I think what you would see is the used car market for Tesla, or the new car market as well, would, I think, accelerate quite fast. Because now if you're a business owner, you're thinking, man, why would I buy this EV6? Or, why would I buy this Kia EV? I could buy this Tesla and wait for the FSD subscription the next year to come online in my city and potentially make money from it. Like it gets real fast. I see some comments saying I got it on Sunday. It's crazy good. Marco, how's it going? Matthew from Vancouver and Minnesota. Different Matthew. So whoever has V12 in the comments, give me some general feedback, right? Got it Saturday. Big comment I say repeatedly is, yep, that's how I would have handled that situation. See, this comment's a big one, right? Daniel says one thing that he keeps seeing is people saying on V12 that, yeah, that's how I would have handled that situation. And that's good and bad, right? Because we don't want robotaxis to operate exactly like humans, because we know humans are flawed. We get pissed off in traffic. We cut people off. We don't want to replicate some of those behaviors. But there's this kind of double-edged sword where for humans to feel comfortable with robotaxis, they have to feel human. And though that might not be the best way that robotaxis operate, I mean, it seems like that's our bias currently. I got V12 yesterday, Christopher says. How's it going, Christopher? And it makes V11 feel like dog food. You will love it. They need insurance coverage in each state. Well, that's a good point. Tesla insurance still doesn't operate in California, I believe, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Texas, it does. Some of the Midwest states, I believe it does as well. Florida, I think it does. Maybe I'm wrong on California. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Marcus says, I have 5 Cybertrucks in back order with $7,000 FST price locked in. Mark, I'm very curious to know what you're going to do if you get called on those right now. Maybe you should just move to the States. Fleet could age too much if it doesn't get approved soon. So this leads us to our bigger point of FST V12, and that is the way in which updates are going to come out. It's going to grow exponentially, right? We know that the updates have been getting faster and faster. That's one thing. But the fact that the updates now are, like, we just had 12.2, then we had 12.3, 2 weeks, a month later, we already had 12.31 come through. So it's already faster and faster. So we're at this point now where the updates are rapid. And really, that's honestly all that matters is, number one, is Tesla making progress? And number two, how fast are they making progress, right? Because if they're making progress, that's great. But if it's at a snail's pace, it doesn't matter as much to us right now. But if they're making progress, one, but they're making progress exponentially faster, that's scary in a good way. Rodfather says, one disengagement for sleeping animal, but it was on a freeway, so I think V12 is only in town. I had no disengagements. Drives better than my nephew. Yeah, so that's part of the feedback right now, is that any highway driving, people think it's on the V11 stack, but we don't know that for a fact just yet. Sanjay says, someone posted a video of V12 clipping the curb. Yes, some say it goes too close to vehicles it passes. So my theory on this is, I think that they've trained the FSD stack on the 3. And so a lot of the curb rationing that we're seeing is happening on the S and X. And because they're wider, I think that would make sense. I'm not 100% sure of my logic there, but that's one. But here's the thing. Do humans clip curbs? Yes, all the time, right? Um, so the fact that V12 is doing it is not totally like a safety issue. It's quite human for that to happen. Like I look at it this way: if I'm trying to teach my 17-year-old cousin to drive, and he bumps into the curb, am I surprised? No, probably not. I think that's kind of where we're at the moment. Um, uh, Hold on one second here. So Sunit says it's a lot more human, but still runs into some very scary situations. Took a few potentially dangerous left turns for me this weekend. I'd be curious to know what city you're in. I've heard in LA it's not amazing yet. Um, Sean says, how does FSC handle humans directing traffic? So there was this clip that I saw of someone waving someone through, and apparently the car wasn't moving the whole time. As soon as they got way through, it went. I don't know if I believe that fully just yet. But look, when you have an AI model, end-to-end neural net, you can train for these types of scenarios. It's just like a brain, right? Like ChatGPT, large language models. I mean, neural nets. These are all like brains. So if you have enough use cases, or if you have enough example cases for it to get trained on, in theory, it could easily get trained on it. Do they have enough of it? That's a different question. And have they trained enough on it? So anyways, so we're up 3% today. Everyone's saying, look, are we up 3 or 6% because of FSD? Because obviously, like the big news here is that the trial that's happening, the 1 month free trial in America, I should say, mind you, as I sit up here jealously waiting, is happening for all new car members. All eligible Teslas will get a 1 month free FSD trial. Now, here's my thoughts on the Elon email. If you don't know, Elon sent an email out and said, all new car deliveries that are going to be taking place, it is now mandatory for you to sit them down, download version 12, give them a joyride before you give them delivery, right? Here's my thoughts on this. Number one, as bullish as everyone thinks this is, I think number one, this obviously hints at the extreme obvious, and that's that Tesla's deliveries are massively slowing down. The numbers show that they're not growing as fast as they'd hope. Number two, the fact that Elon is doing this, I think, shows that I think it is a play to increase margin. Of course, and hopefully I'm not stating the obvious too much here, but I'm seeing a lot of discourse otherwise online. People saying this is a 4D chess move, and maybe it is to a degree, but I think it's as simple as this Occam's razor is, if you can sit people down, show them version 12 works and works well, and they haven't bought FSD, maybe they're likely to subscribe to it now that you've shown them that it works. And then number three, my key takeaway from this is that I think even though people have FSD as a trial, I don't think enough of them are sitting in the car and enabling FSD. And the reason for this is quite simple. I have a lot of friends that have Teslas, and guess what? The percentage of them that even use autopilot is very small. Everyone here that has a Tesla, I'm guessing, and throw in the comments if you don't, probably uses autopilot quite often, right? I use autopilot not as often as you would think I use autopilot. I do mostly city driving. So, but even my friends that drive on the highway quite a bit do not use autopilot as much as you would think. I had one friend actually who she doesn't actually use autopilot at all. She used it for the first time in 3 years of having her car for 10 seconds on I-5. She kind of got scared, didn't really know how it worked. It was too fast or too slow for her. Couldn't figure it out. And then she kind of told me like, oh, well, it's kind of weird. But I was like, how long did you drive for? She's like, 10, 15 seconds. So I think just because a car has something doesn't actually mean that it's being used, right? It doesn't actually mean it's being used. So I think Elon is trying to increase, simply, I think, trying to increase usage of FSD here, right? Usage of FSD. And I think that's a big point because, Tesla's at this point now where margins have suffered, volumes have suffered. It's kind of the two things you don't want to suffer at the same time. How can you increase margins? Well, of course, software. How can you increase software? Well, uptake of FSD. It's as simple as this. Daniel says, I have this intrusive thought. What if FSD gets perfect and people just don't want it? You would hope in a perfect system. Sorry, I got distracted. I got a message there. You would hope in a perfect system that like regulatory bodies would mandate something that is safer in the way that seatbelts are mandated. FSD is not to the point anywhere. I mean, seatbelts don't really have a downside, do they? Um, but you would hope you would hope that the data would win at the end of the day, and that the data would prevail. Like that's a big reason why I've never really played the whole regulatory timeline game. Often on this channel, like I'll say FSD is a while away. Even when it comes online, I don't believe in regulatory bodies to approve it right away. But I don't think we're that far off from that point in some areas. Again, I think it's kind of a Trojan horse. I think you only need a few select areas in the world to approve it, to really lead the charge behind it, show that the data works, and I think everyone will pick up over time in the free market. At least that's what I hope. People are messaging me about Ross. I have no idea what's happening. Okay. Um, oh, interesting. I didn't know city streets are not enabled in the UK. Sanju, I didn't know that. I know 2 people, Peron says, that who don't want FSD. Crazy. By the way, 450 people in the chat. Thanks for tuning in on an impromptu Tesla live stream. Could someone throw into the comments what Tesla stock is sitting at? I obviously can't because I'm on my phone streaming. Someone throw in what Tesla stock is trading at the moment, and whatever percent that is up or down. That'd be great. How's it going, Richard? Good to see ya. Mimi says I would not pay more than $10 a month for FSD. Well, first of all, I think being in Sweden does you would have no usage for it, right? Other than maybe enhanced autopilot or something. By the way, I do want to say I love autopilot, even though I don't have FSD. Autopilot is great, but for city street driving, it's not really my use case because I don't have guided lane markings throughout my whole entire drive, right? 177.81 sitting on Tesla. There we go. Hold on, what time is it? Should we plus 3%? Thank you. So let's start this now. When's the last time we did this? Let's do our Tesla closing price guessing game. You guys have 1 minute. All right, throw into the chat your Tesla your Tesla Price is Right rules, of course. Tesla close guess for the day. You only got a minute though. Do the advances in FSD improve the basic non-autopilot? That's a good question. I don't know, Paul. I don't think it does. My autopilot, I will say, there's certain aspects to it that I'm like, man, it's got to get this. It's got to get that. And there's certain spots that it still doesn't perfectly work on. That being said, I update my car every 6 months. I'll be honest. Like I am terrible at updating my thing. I promise. So, Rohan, if you're listening, Elon, if you're listening, if you get FSC subscription up in Canada and you give me V12, I promise to update my car daily. I promise to tether my data, send back every Canadian fleet data that you need. Not that you have any other cars up here, right? 177.80, 178.88. All right, how's it going? Bulls used to think FSC would sell 15K. Now they're slashing the cost, giving away for free. But I think the whole point of the trial is like, if it has value, will someone pay $200 a month for it, right? And it's like, I mean, here's the good news, right? Enabling FSD for Tesla costs them nothing. It really costs them nothing. The software, there's no variable cost to Tesla. So for them to give it away for free for a month, it's not like it's reducing anyone's pockets. But if Tesla can get 2-3% uptake from the people that go on the free trial, and actually turn into real FSD customers, I think that's substantial. But again, I don't think this is a 4D chess move on getting data. I'm seeing a lot of theories that Tesla bulls are saying out there, oh, Elon needs more data for the fleet. First of all, I think they can run this in shadow mode. They don't need more data from people being subscribed to FSD. But I think this is a pure play on margin. I think this is a business play on getting uptaking your margin to end the quarter. How can we get more people paying us money? And software is the easiest way to do it. Thank you, Beach Crow. Oh, sorry. Closed 177.70. So who won the Price is Right rules? Oh, 67 or 70. One of the two. I guess after hours might be a little bit different. So I mean, look, good day for Tesla, but we're kind of wish-washing in the wind. I mean, like, yeah, we're up 6% today, but it's nothing to rave home about. I mean, it's been kind of an ugly start to the year. We're down. I tweeted this out. I said, "Good news, we're up 6% for the day. Bad news, we're down 26% year to date." So it is what it is. But I mean, look at last year. Last year's, like, what did we expect? 2023 was just a crazy year for the stock in general, not a 2020 level, but a crazy year for the stock. So there we go. Thank you, Steve. 177.67. Thanks for everyone throwing in the comments. Up 2.92% on close. He says, I want to rave when we're over 350. So I mean, let's see. I just I agree. The stock price is depressing. So for this topic, actually, let's talk deliveries, right? So end of quarter one is happening here this week. Tesla's going to tell us how many cars they delivered in quarter one. It's not looking remotely close to where we thought it was going to be 3 or 6 months ago in terms of unit volume. Are margins going to improve? I have my doubts now because the FSD gameplay is happening. So that leaves us in a peculiar position. Of course, the auto market as a whole is quite cyclical, and we're seeing in general numbers decline, but that doesn't excuse Tesla, the growth company, from growing, right? Still. So we're at a peculiar position now where Tesla needs to show some growth over this year. There's a risk that Wall Street is going to revise delivery numbers down for this year from 2 million to 1.8, even, who knows, if a quarter one or quarter two ugly print happens, right? So the reason for the stock coming down is quite simple. Wall Street continues to decline EPS estimates. EPS estimates, I think, are $2.70 or $3 at the moment, something like that. $3 for 2024 fiscal year is the earnings per share estimate for Tesla. You know, if you take $3, I don't know what multiple you want to give it. If you give it a 50 multiple, that's 150. You know, if you want to give it a 60 multiple, I mean, you can. 180 is kind of where we're sitting at today. So I know that's not the way you want to You want to just throw a PE on something, because if it's a growth company, you probably want to look at the PEG ratio. But Wall Street simply is lowering EPS estimates as they see weakening of margin, weakening of volume. And from that spurs institutional trading, which is lowering the stock price more and more. So where do we go from here? Well, we need to see a bottoming of EPS, whether it's volumes surprise to the upside, margin surprise to the upside. FSD V12 being great is awesome, don't get me wrong, but that in and of itself is not an effect on the short-term stock price. Now, that might be our alpha in the long run, you can make an argument for, but if you want Wall Street to come on board, EPS has to bottom, right? But like has to increase, let's be quite honest, it's a growing company, but EPS, it's a falling knife. EPS estimates, I should add. So, you know, for quarter one, again, quarter one typically is quite a weak quarter, but year over year growth is probably going to be flat for volumes, right? Flat for volumes. How much will Wall Street drop their quarterly delivery estimates this week? Tina, great question. Wall Street is a lot higher than people like Troy Teslak are. I think Wall Street, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think Wall Street is still 40,000 or 50,000 cars more in terms of their estimates right now than I think like Troy would be even at the moment. Duke, and shout out to you. Thank you. Closing price 177.67. Winner is Michael Gibson with a guess of 177.52. You're the man. Thank you, Duke. Actually, please tell us that, Elon. Unfortunately, I don't have a word in on Elon. At least I don't think so. So, anyways, the point here is let's zoom out. I guess we have to, right? Let's zoom out 3 years from today. Is Tesla still growing at the nut? First of all, because you can make the argument for this quarter over year, is Tesla even growing? You have to ask yourself that. I think in 3 years, there's no question Tesla will be massively growing. Is Tesla's margins higher? Now, this is the bet that Elon made with software, right? He said, my bet is with software that I can sell these cars at a loss, at a break even if I have to. But if I penetrate the market enough, I continue to keep these factory lines going. I continue to make sure that the manufacturing speed doesn't decelerate. That when we come out of this recession, when interest rates come down, and man, that's another topic that we can get into if you want. When interest rates come down, we're going to be full speed ahead. We're going to have way more cars on the road than any other close competitor that we might even have, we're going to be accelerating our speed. And so once the recession is out of the window, and again, the R word, we don't even really have to use it, but when interest rates come down, we're going to be laughing. And so the bet right now is with software. The bet right now is with software. V12, does that increase it? Potentially. I feel it at a microeconomic level. I look at my life and I go, or I look at my consumer choice and I go, I'm seeing some really sick videos of V12 out there. Would I pay out of my pocket for FSC subscription if I knew I could get V12? Yes. How long would I keep it for? I don't know. But I look at myself as a microcosm of the consumer base of Tesla and go, okay, well, of course, maybe I'm more privy to want to subscribe to something like V12 because kind of a Tesla nerd, of a loser, I have a lot of time on my hand, whatever it might be. But maybe there is a percentage of people out there that are somewhat like that as well. And does that help margins for Tesla? When does V12 or V13 FSD, I should just say, get to a point where everyone wants to subscribe to it, whether or not they use it every single day or not, but because they know that next time they drive, they're going to want to use it because it's a great assist program. Cybertruck margins are huge now. Yes, Beach Crow. Look. Cybertruck's gonna bring down margins, of course. We know this. Zach, before he left, said this as much. But I don't know if Cybertruck, because of the delivery, the volume that they're doing, I don't think it's really a meaningful indicator for Wall Street to be like, yeah, Cybertruck has changed our equation on Tesla this year. At least I don't think so. Nat says Wall Street is just trying to make a narrative. Yes, 100%. But look, they have more money, right? Institutional money runs stocks like Tesla. Once a $1 trillion company, $500 billion, whatever. At these market caps, Wall Street institutional money, HFTs in the short run, medium run, really run the valuation of a company, right? That's just it. I mean, Tesla's not a small scale company anymore. Tony says, and great point, Tony, growth this year will probably be on the back of energy, Cybertruck, and some semi. On volumes, or I guess this is a question for you, on volumes or on total money? Because Cybertruck, or I guess maybe you mean revenue, right? Because Cybertruck and semi quite high in dollar volume. How much of a major delivery miss already baked into the current stock price? That's a great question. Actually, I'll ask you this. I'll ask this question to everyone. I guess answer in the comments. Do you think much of a delivery miss is already baked into Tesla stock? Yes, no, or maybe give your reasoning if you want. Be curious to get like a gauge of a sentiment. Andrea says, have you seen the video where version 12.3 was driven San Francisco? Several inventory needed was posted hours ago. Who was that? I will go watch it. Maybe just shout them out in the comments or something, or message. What time is it? 1:08. Oh, there we go. 1:08. The last quarter. Okay, so no, it's not. Bad news is not priced in. Yes, it's priced in. Ryan, how's it going, man? We'll post the link. Okay. The link might get blocked by YouTube Studio. Maybe just tell us who it is, and then we'll or on Twitter, just their handle or something. I'll look it up. When Ford licenses FSD, unpredictable. Violet says, how big of a stock price spike? Ford is full on with their Blues Cruise. I mean, we know this. So maybe eventually they do, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of liken the FSD licensing to something like how, I'm not sure if you guys knew this actually, but maybe a lot of you did. Like Google pays or Apple pays a lot of money for licensing Google search on their phones. And it's like $18 billion, right? Or pardon me, Google pays Apple a lot of money to license Google search as their default browser, right? $18 billion, something like that, to the magnitude of a year is what they pay to make sure that Google search is the go-to. I don't know exactly what it would look like, but I think all of it is margin, right? So most analysts have already revised their price targets. Correct, but they're going to be quick to, if Tesla comes out and they miss deliveries again, I mean, it's gonna come down again. I just because they have revised it down, I don't foresee a future where they wouldn't continue to revise it down. They don't like to do these big jumps. You'll see these kind of micro jumps from analysts. If Wall Street would never buy Tesla stock at all, what would happen to the stock? Well, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, in theory, if there's a boycott of the stock, then I think we already know what would happen to the stock. But the market really doesn't care about politics enough to not make money. So if they can buy something that's absurdly valued, like if Tesla was $1 a share today, the free market, all the bots, all the trading bots that value Tesla at even $20 would be like, this is a massive steal, right? So you would have this institutional algo trading going on to bring up Tesla to what the market kind of sees it fit. So I think the market is a concoction of all these things. So I mean, in theory, there could be a boycott, but that would make no sense because people put their money first, right? That's kind of the thing. And plus, the market cap is so high. Me, Kevin actually sold. I think me, Kevin actually went down or shorted, but I think he actually covered his short. I'm not sure. Wow, my wife lost vision in one of her eyes about 5 months ago and is just getting back to driving again. Wow, 12.3 has been a godsend. Wow, that's huh. That's well. Thanks for sharing that. That's I mean, there's so many use cases with the disabled and some people that don't like to drive or feel unsafe. Yeah, I mean, this thing, if it's not Tesla, it should be someone else because this technology should be solved. Let's see here. So it seems like it's about 50-50 split with people thinking that the stock price has already been priced in on a bad. My opinion is I don't think it's been priced in for a terrible miss just yet. That's my gut. And I know we've been down, but if Tesla comes out with 420 or 430, like if they come out and they miss by 40K, 30K off of Wall Street expectations, I think we probably hug back down to that 130-ish level. But that would be quite a big miss. Now, Wall Street expectations could either come down prior to, or Tesla could have good registration numbers from China come through in the last week. That could bring it back up. Again, Tesla has to sell a story for the remainder of this year more than just quarter one. Tesla really has to sell a story for quarter two. And I guess I'm not just trying to be sequential here, but quarter two is big quarter, and it really paints up whether or not 2024 fiscal year deliveries come down massively. 3%, not 6%. At the end of the day, China sales alone will pull Tesla quarter one deliveries before 400K. They're trending to sell 250K less cars in China than this year versus 250. That could be the trend. So, I mean, that's the question: is quarter one an anomaly or not? And the market is believing that it's not an anomaly, and that's why we're seeing the downward pressure. But Wall Street is still quite a bit higher than I look at like Troy Tesla, right? Quite a bit higher still. Okay, 150K less. Thank you, Mika. All right, a quick 33-minute live stream. I appreciate everyone tuning in on an impromptu live stream. 630 people tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Hit like, hit subscribe on your way out. Drop me a comment if you're watching on replay. Again, I would like to say that I give you more heads up next time I go live, but I don't know. I don't want to promise anything at this point. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Hit subscribe on your way out. Thanks for joining on a great discussion. Like, this is why I love live streams, right? Because on a regular video, I can just talk and that's it. I post it. But in the live streams, these comments, these back and forth, these discussions, both sides of the equation that we're trying to argue. I mean, this is what makes live streams awesome. All right. Much love, y'all. Take care. Peace out.